Hey guys, so for today, Tuesday, we are going to be reading Pioneers to the West, but we're going back and doing a close read on pages 4 through 5. And then we're skipping ahead actually to page 20, which is not part of our focus question. And then we're skipping ahead again to 26 through 29, which are the pages we read yesterday during our Zoom. Our focus question as we read today is when we read these pages of Pioneers to the West, select one of the images and tell what you learned from it. Images just means pictures. So we're going to be choosing a picture on one of these pages, and we're going to be telling what we learned from that picture. Now, keep in mind, there's no one correct image to choose. You can choose whichever of the pictures or images you'd like, but make sure you tell what page the image is on, and then make sure you tell what you learned from it. Okay, so that being said, let's go back and let's do a close read. We'll start on pages 4 and 5. We'll look at the image on page 4. Here we see this image here. Let's read our caption to hear what we've learned about this image on page 4.
People often join together on their journeys west. The lucky ones rode in covered wagons. Others walked many miles every day.
So if you chose the image on page 4, you might say, the image on page 4 taught me that, and then tell me a little bit about what you learned from it. Okay, page 5 I don't think has an image, so we'll skip to our next group. Okay, now we'll go to page 20 here. We're actually just reading page 20. We're not going to choose this image. It's just because our vocabulary word for today is advertisement. And we see that word here in the caption for this image. And we're going to talk about what an advertisement is.
Advertisements like this helped create excitement for the Homestead Act. Even when the land was not free, the price for it was very low.
Okay, so what an advertisement is, and we've all seen these before. Today we see advertisements for clothing brands or sneakers or foods or movies, things that are trying to be promoted or to try to get people to buy them. So here, this is an advertisement to try to get people to move west and stay on this land or pay small amounts of money for this land. We talked about this earlier on in our book. So what an advertisement is a notice to promote a product, a service, or an event. And we'll take that note down in our next video. And our last image that we're going to read about is on page 26. Let's just make sure. Oh, this is 27. So don't think 26 had an image on it. Oh, it did. Okay, so you could choose this image too, something that you learned from it. So let's read this caption first.
This painting by artist John Gast is called American Progress. It was painted in 1872. The country is shown as a woman moving from the cities on the East Coast, past the Mississippi River, and heading toward the West Coast.
Okay, so if you wanted to choose this image, you could say the image on page 26 taught me, and tell me what it taught you. Then we go to the image on page 27, and we'll read that caption. This is actually probably my favorite image, even though it teaches us something very sad that happened in history. It's one of my favorite images, I think, in this whole book. It's because you can tell how sad the Indians are.
Starting in 1838, the U.S. government sent thousands of American Indians from their homelands in the East to Oklahoma. This journey became known as the Trail of Tears.
So if you wanted to choose this, you would say the image on page 27 taught me, and you could tell us about what happened with those poor American Indians, how they got kicked out and had to go on the Trail of Tears. And then our last 2 pages you can choose from our page 28 and 29. So 28 and 29, the image is basically just a map of the United States, and it shows the trails that different pioneers took to head west. You also see the Trail of Tears that the Indians took to head west when they were kicked out. So you can choose any of those images we talked about, and you just need to tell what you learned from that image, but only choose one. All right, for the second video, when you guys come back, have your notebooks ready to take our vocabulary note.